What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Monkey Dean Luffy, and today we got ourselves a very special video. The first two on my channel were bangers. The first one, if you watched, ranking every manga from worst to best. Second one, pretty much ranking all the SPs, what I think is going to become S tiers and be the best investment. But this one specifically is, what I think can potentially build you a $1 million PC for One Piece. Investing into One Piece, and for this video specifically, I have three different routes to take. Three routes to take that you can become a millionaire throughout this. It doesn't mean that, yes, 100% lock it in, grab these, you're going to become a millionaire. But realistically, I see this as the best possibility because I do have a lot of faith in this TCG. And 5-10 years down the line, who knows, it could be maybe even more than $1 million. So let's get into it. The very first way you can do it is probably the most obvious. You're gonna have to spend a lot of money to do this. I mean, and realistically, if you want $1 million PC, you have to invest a lot of money. I don't think this is the best way, but if you want to take the easiest route, not necessarily easiest because you're spending so much, but this is the most likely route to actually get you to $1 million PC one day, and that's just buying all the serialized cards. So we have the Luffy, the first ever serialized card. It's out of 700. I think this is the best one you can possibly grab, and it's at 160,000. The second one is the Gear 5 Luffy, out of 1,000, and it's going for 60,000. The third one, probably my least favorite Luffy out of the bunch, but it's going for damn near $50,000, and it's out of 1,000 as well. The next one, we had to throw this in there, the Red Manga Luffy Black Label. Now this just recently sold July 12th for 165K. I mean, it's probably pop 8, pop 10, I think maybe even less, and that's why this card is, just going to continue to rise. It's going to become something that, a lot of people want to get their hands on. A lot of big sharks, they're going to want to grab this card specifically to add to their serialized pot. And I'll explain a little bit of why this is only going to keep going up. I still think it's an overhyped card if you saw my first manga video, but you can't ignore the facts, you can't ignore the scarcity, and just the fact that it's the only red manga right now, you need to have it in the collection. Next, we got Zoro, serialized Zoro, $50,000. Lastly, the Shanks, serialized Shanks, 1,000. The Zoro is out of 600, the Shanks is out of 1,000. And this one sold, let's see, it was 15K. It sold for $12,000. So I couldn't even find a BGS slab. You guys know how I feel. I think if you're getting anything graded, it needs to be through Beckett. It doesn't need to be, but that's going to be the best return on your investment. So right here, let me explain exactly why these cards will only continue to go up. Altogether, let's see, hold up. Before I do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cards, and it's costing you $500,000, which is why it's most likely to end up being $1 million collection, possibly even more, maybe $2 million, depending on how this TCG goes. I mean, you technically just need your profits to 2x, and that's kind of crazy to say because it's already 500K, but this is the most likely scenario for that to happen. I don't think it's the best one. Honestly, I would say out of the three that I have, it's probably the least safest option to do. A lot of people don't want to spend 500K. A lot of people can't spend 500K, and even if they have so much to spend, they don't want to use it on just 6 different cards. So specifically why I said this is gonna for sure continue to go up is because look how rare they are. Only 700 of these available. There's only 1,000 of these. There's only 1,000. Only probably 8 or 10 of these in a black label. 600 of these total in the Zoro, and then 1,000 for this. Now look, PSA 10. There's 314. There's 345 total graded, so some of them, the other probably 30 plus came back in a 9. The other half of it probably was sent to BGS, and those were mostly graded 9.5s. Maybe you got some 10s, but it's going to be a lot lower pop count, which is why I said you should grab that. And then there's probably 200 of them that are just still sealed, and people are trying to sell them as sealed products. So realistically, with these type of cards, these people know, okay, we own all of the cards. There's going to be a group chat of 300, 500 people. Hey, we're all the serial Shanks holders. Or, hey, guys, we're all the people who own the 700 copies of the Luffy. I'm listing mine right now. You have a buy it now for 150, move your buy it now to 200K. I'm going to try and sell mine. And then when the guy goes and buys it, he's going to look and be like, oh, damn, the next one listed is 200,000. This is a pretty good price. Let me buy 160. They control the market. They can do pretty much whatever they want. And that's why it's like most likely going to continue to go up and up and up, because opposed to having 100 other people who have your card, 700 people, 1,000 people, the 10 in this case with the black label, the Dodgers promo Luffy, there's like 4,000, 5,000 pop count. So say they have that group chat of 200, 300 people. They're going to be like, all right, guys, let's control the market and shoot it up to 5K, 10K, 15K. The other 4,500 people are going to be like, oh, damn, I want to take profits too. That one's listed at 8K. All right, I'm going to list mine for 7. Then the next guy's going to be like, oh, that's for 7. I want to list mine for 6. Oh, I want to list mine for 5. And it's going to keep messing with the market where it just goes like that. That's realistically what this game is. And that's why a lot of the big whales, you know, they buy Serialized, because they know they can control it and they can just only shoot it up more. Now, you can go this route and just get all of these cards, but you're only owning 6 cards at the end of the day. You're spending $500,000 and you're only owning 6 cards. I think there's a lot of better routes that you can take and a lot less money you can spend to, you know, eventually get to that million mark. So that's kind of where I'm at with the Serialized. You can't ignore them. You have to put this in the video. Say, for instance, you didn't even want to get the red Manga Luffy, or there's only 10 of them available and all 10 holders are keeping them and they won't give it to you. You have 165K worth of spending. I would say, you know, either don't spend it, save the 160K and rock out with these. But if you're like, no, I'm spending 500,000, then you can go and get the vintage, you know, One Piece stuff. You can get the first ever edition from like 2005. Those cards in PSA 9s are going for like 40, 50K, 60K. So you can get 2 of the Luffys, a Zoro. You can get the first ever one. The first ever box I think is selling for like 50K too. So if you get a sealed product of that, that's a pretty good option as well. So you can kind of diversify in that aspect, but you're only realistically owning 6 cards. So that's the first route. The second one is sealed product. Now look at this. I mean, this guy, he knows what he's doing. He's got an insane amount of sealed product. One thing I'm going to say right now is this is probably the most boring route you can take to becoming a millionaire. But realistically, what I'm seeing here, this guy has $1 million inventory. Now, me personally, I could never, ever do this because I'm not disciplined enough to keep sealed product like this. Like, anytime I have something sealed, I've had so much stuff that was sealed, and I look at it and I'm like, there's a manga in there, and I'll start ripping it. So like, I'm not disciplined to keep my stuff. Props to him, because it looks like, you know, he's doing a good job of that. He's like, this is like what, stack of 12 high. He has a bunch of rows. He probably even has more than that. So realistically, you know, this guy is set up pretty well to end up having a $1 million collection one day, because when all of these sets go out of supply, there's already a lot of them that are out of supply, and he's going to be like, yeah, I'm that one guy who has it. So 5-10 years down the line, when streamers, when creators, when athletes, when celebrities are like, oh, I want to rip the very first OPO1 box or the OPO5 set, I need a case of that. They're going to have to go to people like him. They're going to have to say, okay, hey, I know you have a bunch in your basement. I need to go buy from you now. You can't go to card stores and get from them because they won't have any products. So realistically, Bandai will never reprint a lot of these sets, and he's pretty much, you know, holding it for the long term, and I think that's the smartest move for him to do. I personally don't like the route of doing this as well, because like, 1, I'm not disciplined enough. 2, it takes up a lot of space. I mean, look at this, bro. Like, he's probably has his entire basement taken of just this entire wall. He probably has more on the side on top of that. And, you know, I mean, it's worth it for him because, you know, he's going to end up having a $1 million PC one day. And I think, you know, he's cooking. He knows what he's doing. But realistically, this guy probably paid like, dude, he probably paid like $350 to $500K. It depends what you're doing. If you have a distributor and you can get it for cheap, you can get it for MSRP, then yeah, you're paying a lot less. But like, I see right here, he has what? He has Emperors of the New World right here. So that's an OPO9 box that is going for a lot. I know he probably has OPO5, which is like $13,000 a case. So he's probably spent like $200 to $500K just in sealed product. And yeah, I mean, he's going to end up having a really big collection down the line where he can raise, he can pretty much charge whatever he wants. Like what I was saying with the Serialized cards, I think he's going to end up having, you know, a really good collection. So props to him. He knows what he's doing. Shout out Big Ace Trading. I mean, I think this dude is, he's killing it with all the sealed product. And it sucks for the players. It sucks for some of the people who do want the boxes. But, I mean, hey, you can't knock it. You can't hate on it. He knows what he's doing, and he's got a good collection here. So I definitely think he's going to be cooking and have $1 million collection that way. If you take this route, no hate to it. But you have to have connections. You have to have plugs and, distribution in order to make that full, perfect investment. And it's a lot of space, like I said. So I don't know about that. My favorite route to take, we said with the serialized, you're spending $500K. With the sealed product, you're spending probably nowadays, if you're not getting it the second it comes out because you can't anymore, you're probably going to end up spending $500,000, $600K, maybe even more than the serialized. So I don't suggest doing that now. But realistically, I think this is the best route to do. I totaled up everything here, and this is all for Beckett slabs, not even the raw price. I totaled up everything. You're looking at about $200,000 to $215,000. If you buy a majority of these from one vendor, you could probably get it down to 200,000 and maybe even more, depending on how good you are at negotiating. And just if you're buying a big bunch from a certain guy, maybe he's more likely to give you a discount. So I'm going to go through it, give you guys my reasoning of why these investments are the best move. Spending $200,000 is a lot of money, but like I said in the beginning of the video, you need to put in money if you want to have $1 million collection one day. If you're like, hey, I don't care to have $1 million collection, I'm down to have a 500K collection, a 400K, a 300K. I don't want to spend 200,000. You can take a lot from this video and see what your budget is. Say, okay, you know what? I think I'm spending 50K, 100K max, and or even 50K, whatever it is. You can take what I'm doing here and what I'm telling you information-wise and say, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that, and I think I can end up having a 150, 200K, 300K collection, whatever the case may be. So like I said before, we're starting with the wanted posters, extremely undervalued. We got Sabo, Goldie Roger, Buggy, Marshall D. Teach, Shanks, Monkey D. Luffy, Porcus D. Ace. We have the other Luffy that I talked about in the last video. We had to throw this one in there as well because it's the first ever Luffy SP. I'm personally not a fan of the background. I think all of these other ones are nicer. But yeah, we have the last one here, Gear 5 Luffy. And I put them in order of what I think is the best by best play. But realistically, if you own every single one of these cards, I think you're in really good shape. I think they're very undervalued right now. And down the line, if you're spending what? I don't know the top of my head. I think if you're spending $3,000, $4,000 with all the wanted posters together, then you can really end up taking big profits on that. One day it can end up going to 12K for all of them. If you have all of them, it's a premium. And you can be like, damn, I'm at 12, 15K. Okay, let me trade all of them now because it's at its highest and then invest in a big card, like maybe the serialized Shanks or one of the other cards that I'm bringing up soon. So there's a lot of options you can use with this, or you can just keep riding it out because I think wanted posters are super undervalued. Like I said in my last video, I think, it's a big part of the show, and a lot of people who are in the TCG haven't watched the show. They don't understand that this, shows the power level. This is a big iconic moment when one of your favorite characters gets that wanted poster. It's big and it means a lot. So I think they're really cool cards. They're an SP. It's hard to pull, and it's a different concept than all the other cards, and it's just, it's iconic. It really is. So I had to throw that in the video. Next, we're going to mangas. I ranked them in order of what I think is, they're all great cards. If they're in this list to make you $1 million, they're all S tier products in my opinion. And I put them in order of what I think is going to be the best way to do it. We got Nami, we got Boa, we got Zoro, we got Chopper, we got Sanji, we got Shanks, and we got the Gear 2 Monkey D. Luffy from EBO2. Now, all of these cards are absolutely S tier in my opinion. I put Nami behind Boa specifically because she's already at 5,000 right now. Boa, I think in a BGS 10 is if I'm not wrong, 3,000, maybe 3,300. And these two cards are huge. The waifu tax on them is going to be good. Down the line, if you have these two mangas along with the other ones, it's going to have a premium. You're going to have a big collection. Look at all the cards we have here. It's lined up. Imagine having all of this in your PC and, at the end of the day, you're going to have someone come and be like, damn, you have everything, all the top tier characters. And, you know, it's just, it's going to be more and more of a premium. So I'll explain more about that in a little bit. But yeah, Boa's in the second spot. Zoro's in the third spot. Right now, he's at 5,500, 5,700. Some people are listing him. These are all, again, Beckett 10 slabs. And then the next, we have Tony Chopper. I'm trying to get this one so bad. It just keeps going up. Every time he's listed, he just keeps flying. I think the last sale was 6,500. And there's listings at 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. So, you know, he's a great character. He's above all these other ones specifically because, you know, Chopper is a very big character. He's very liked by the female and male audience. And, you know, I just don't see this card ever slowing down. I think it's going to end up being a 14, 15, maybe even a $20,000 card. And this is all 5 years, you know, maybe longer down the line. I can see all these mangas going up like very, very much. Next, you guys know how I feel about the Chopper manga, You guys know how I feel about the Sanji manga. Absolutely S tier. I'm not going to re-explain everything. I talked about it in my first manga video. I showed the pop count. I showed how hard he was to pull. I showed, you know, exactly like how, like, you know, big of a play it is to own this specific card. I think he's better than the Zoro. He's better than the Boa. He's better than the Nami. And he's better than the Chopper. And right now, if you want to get him in a BGS 10, you're paying about $6,000. If you find the right guy, maybe you're paying a little bit less, but I think this is a great card to pick up, and it's something that you need. You're getting the like iconic, you know, characters from One Piece, and you're getting all of their mangas, which is why I think this is a brilliant play to add in with the wanted posters. Shanks, again, I talked about it in my manga video. This is such a slept-on card. I think this has potentially the most room to grow. He's the first ever manga ever. You know, he has a low pop count. BGS 10, he's selling for like, its lowest right now, like $6,000. And that's kind of crazy to say that's lowest because this card was like 7,500, touching almost 8,000. But I just see this card running up so much, and realistically thinking, like, why did Oda make this the first ever manga? I think there's more planned for Shanks. I think he loves Shanks and he has something coming up. Like when Bandai made the One Piece game, they could have just been like, okay, hey, a lot of people are hating on this TCG. We don't know if it's going to be big or not. We have no idea if we're going to sell out, if nobody's going to care about it. But we're going to make Shanks the first ever manga. Why didn't they play it safe and just make Luffy the first ever manga? Or like do something along the lines of that? No, he picked Shanks, and I think it was for a reason. Even if it wasn't for a reason, I think Shanks will, no matter what, continue to rise, and he can be a $15,000, $20,000 card as well. Realistically, like I said in my other video, you know, the OPO1 blue bottom box, $5,500, $6,000 if you want to get it. And buying Shanks in a 10 is damn near the same exact price as getting that box. So if you buy the OPO1 box and you're like, my chase card is Shanks, my chase card's Shanks, and you open it, 99% chance you're not pulling it, and you might as well just, you know, buy the Shanks for $6,000 at that point, and then, you know, save yourself the headache of not pulling it, going through the grading process, maybe not getting a 10. Like, it doesn't make sense. People don't understand, and I think this card has a lot of room to grow, and it's due for a jump very soon. So that's my take on Shanks, and obviously you guys know how I feel about the Gear 2 manga. My opinion, the best looking manga in the whole One Piece TCG. The most iconic moment in One Piece, in my opinion, I mean, where he transformed. It's like when Goku went Super Saiyan. So, you know, this is a big card. It's you know, going up a lot. It's at like $15,000-$16,000 in, you know, a BGS 10. So I don't think you can sleep on this card at all. I think this card will end up, you know, being one of the biggest cards down the line. And when I say that, I mean like 5-10 years from now. Let's think about it. The people looking at your whole collection, if you have all of these that I'm going to get into, it's not going to be like, oh yeah, you know, I had never watched the show, I'm just really interested. No, it's going to be people who are growing up, kids right now who are growing up watching the show, and they love it, they love all the characters, and you know, they're like, oh, when I was so young, these cards were coming out, I didn't have enough money to buy them, but now as they grow up, some of them become millionaires, and they're going to be like, I want to buy all the personal collections, I want to buy all of these cards. They're going to know, they're going to want these top tier characters. Some of them don't even care about, you know, Serialized or like promotional cards because they're like, I never won them. I don't have a sentimental value to it. Like these cards specifically are stuff that I always wanted when I was a kid. And that's going to be something that they want to grab in the future. So I just think, it's a great play to make. I think Luffy's going to be one of those cards. And I think this has a way better route of, picking up these cards because down the line, the people who are getting that big personal collection, they're going to be like the Logan Pauls pretty much. The Logan Pauls, when he loved Pokemon, he went and he's like, I need to get the Charizard, I need to get this, because he watched the show, he understood all the characters, and that's why he started investing and buying a lot of them, because he had a very big sentimental value to it. So that is all the mangas that we're covering for this segment. Next, we're going to promo cards. You're getting promo championships. You're getting a mixture of everything with this personal collection. You're paying $200,000 and it's a lot of money, but yeah, you're getting a whole, spreadsheet of stuff. You're getting everything you need to, build that portfolio to what it's at. So we have Sakazuki, we have Borsalino, and we have Kuzan. I still think these are pretty undervalued. I think this in a BGS 10 is like $2,300. This is like almost, $3,000. It's pretty hard to grade in a BGS 10. And then this one, in my opinion, is probably the best out of three because Kuzan has the most likeliness of, being accepted by the audience. He has a bigger fan base than the other two. And I think this is also close to the Borsalino, like 2.8, maybe 3,000. So these are great championship cards to own, and I think it really does buff up your portfolio a lot more. Great championship cards. Next, we have the Diet Luffy. So this card is very, very hard to pull. It was from the OP13 booster case that you bought. It came with like a promotional pack, and I've seen people on stream that have like 40 of them. And after the 37th pack, they finally pull this Luffy right here. And, apparently it's extremely hard to grade. The way it was sent out, it was like crushed in distribution, so there's not a lot of good foils out there. They might as well have just made this a serialized card because, like, there's such limited copies of them out there. And right now it's selling for like $4,000 as a BGS 10 slab. So I think this is a great card to pick up, a great card to add in your portfolio. Next, we have another championship card. We have Boa Hancock, and then the one after that is Nami. I think between these two, Nami beats Boa just by a little bit, specifically because Boa is more expensive right now. This is the newer card, 2026, 2027. The Nami is the 2025, 2026. Not only that, but I just checked recently, the pop count in Beckett 10 is like 94 for Nami, and it's like 135 for Boa. Also, Boa is selling for like $7,000 right now in Beckett 10 when Nami's selling for like 5,500, maybe 6,000. So I think it's rare. It's an older card, and also it has Zoro right here and Luffy, the top three characters in One Piece. It's a great card to pick up. Don't get me wrong, both of these cards are great to pick up, but if I had to pick between them, I'm picking the Nami. So there's that. Next, we got another promo card. You guys don't understand. This card is still like top tier, bro. I can't really say it's slept on because a lot of people are picking up on it now and it's expensive. And a Beckett 10, it's like $5,000. Some people are selling it for even more because it's like pop 32. So very low pop count. There's three versions of this card. There's one that doesn't have this championship stamp. That one's going for like 1,000 in a PSA 10. The one that has a championship stamp, which is this one, is going for like 5,500. And then there's a finalist one that has the One Piece logo right here. You can't even see it. It looks identical to this card unless you hold it in the light, and you'll see that little like One Piece logo stamp glare on the bottom left. So that's the only difference. I put this version in instead of the finalist because the finalist is $20,000. I think it's even lower pop count, which yes, it is. It's like 5, maybe 10 in a Beckett 10. So I mean, just the fact that you can save yourself $15,000 and spend that towards the other stuff that we're getting into, I think it's a big play. And this is a great card to own because, it's only going to run up and it's going to chase the finalist version and continue to grow in that aspect. So great card. Also to mention, this one jumped so much because Logan Paul bought like a manga and he posted it and everyone was like, oh, you LARPer, we hate this, blah, blah, blah. I think he showed Speed it. And, the card, it was the manga cover and it was this exact cover right here. So everyone's like, oh, damn, all went and bought out this card. And I was like, dude, that's crazy. I had this card before that, so I got really lucky on that aspect. It was really cheap, and then this one just shot up to like 1,500, 1,600 raw, almost 2,000, I think. So there's a lot of random sales on it, but great card to own. I think it's good, and it's going to continue to rise. Next, another promo card, the first anniversary Luffy promo. Now, this is the first anniversary. This box itself is going for like 5,500, 6,000. I've seen sales for 7, maybe even 8. This card itself in a Beckett 10 is so hard to grade because the centering is trash. I mean, look at the centering even on the front in the TCG picture. Like, look at this right here on the left side, and then look on the right side. I mean, this card is not printed correctly. It's the first ever anniversary edition, and if you get it in a Beckett 10, you're looking really, really good. So looking at that, it's a $6,000-$7,000 card, and I think this is going to be a really good card that continues to grow down the line. So moving on, we got the Monkey D. Luffy Dodgers promo, the first ever Dodgers collab with One Piece. I think this is better than the Don card that just came out in every single way, shape, and form. I mean, this card, like I said earlier in the video, it's like pop 4,000 or 5,000 almost, but it did have that big jump of 5K. And, I can only see this card continuing to grow as Dodgers become more and more relevant. The One Piece TCG continues to do the collabs, and it's a great card to own. It's a really nice looking card too, so you can't go wrong with it. Definitely had to add it in the list. Next, we have the Red Bull Luffy, the winter promotional card. Beautiful looking card. It's Red Bull, one of the biggest brands in the world, and Luffy. So who doesn't like Red Bull? Who doesn't like Luffy? I mean, putting them together is a huge, a huge play for One Piece, a huge play for Red Bull. And this card in a Beckett 10 is selling for like $20,000. I only see it going up potentially a $40,000, potentially a $50,000 card. The pop count is stupid low. And, all of these cards are pretty much low pop count. So I think that's just going to be a really good play for your portfolio. And if you add that with all the other ones, you're looking really good. Now the next card, it's not the next one. It's probably going to be coming up soon, but it is the next card after this. But this one is the Monkey D. Luffy OP01 leader. I had to add this one in here. This is actually not even the pre-errata version. I don't know if I could find it on TCG Player, but the pre-errata version is set 1. This one says set up to 1, so it had an error on the text, and the pre-errata version is going for like $8,000 in a BGS 10. Some are sold at $10,000. It went down a little bit, so maybe that's a good buying opportunity, but owning this card is going to be very important down the line. I think people are going to want that error card. They're going to want the Luffy leader from the first ever set, especially because they know it's from the blue bottom. And I also added this in here because if you don't want to take some of these promotional plays, you can technically invest in all of Luffy leaders. I think that's a great, strategy to have as well. If you invest in the OP01 Luffy, the OP15 Luffy leader, the OP16 one that just came out, get every single Luffy leader you can get and have them in Beckett 10. I think that's going to end up, being a really good play down the line. Similar to how I mentioned with the wanted posters, how they're pretty cheap right now. You can do the same thing with the leader card. So that's a big reason why I added this one in here. And if you just go down that route with the wanted posters, I think you'll also be in very good shape as well. Next, my favorite promo card. To be honest, I have a pretty good tie with this one because this is the first ever One Piece winner. It's from I think 2022, 2023. Literally right when the anime came out, they made this one. It's extremely hard to get in Beckett 10. I think it's pop like 42. And I was at a card show, and the guy at the time, it was 1,000. I think it was like 1,700 in a BGS 10. And he's looking at me, he's like, I know you like BGS 10. Here's a Luffy Gear 5. Do you want it? And I'm looking at it, and I was like, damn, like, this is a sweet card. I do like Beckett. I looked up, like, the pricing and stuff, and I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, I'll do it for 1,500. And right away, he's like, yeah, deal. And I was like, damn. I was like, maybe I overpaid a little bit for it, but then I was just like realizing, this is a Gear 5 Luffy. I went home, I checked the pop count. I also saw that it was from 2022, 2023, and I was like, damn, no, I think this was a really good purchase. And it's crazy because literally 3 to 4 days later, this card shot up like crazy. I know the vendor, when he sold it to me, like, he agreed right away. He was probably like, damn, yo, I got this card for stupid cheap. I made a good profit. Like, hell yeah. And then it shot up to 3,400, 3,500. And I was like, dude, like, no way. Like, I didn't even expect it to go up that fast, but like, if I waited literally not even a week later, I would have had to pay double the premium on this. So I really do like this card. It's a sick looking card. It has the gold first place stamp winner on it. And I mean, there's not too much to say. I mean, he's gear 5. It has a lot of cool value to it, and I can just see this card becoming a 80. I can see this card becoming an 8,000, 10,000, maybe even a $12,000 card. So I think it's still a really good pickup right now at 3.5. You can probably even find it at 3,000, but Beckett's don't really get listed that much because the pop count is so low. But guys, I think this is a great card to pick up and probably one of my favorite promos to get. So moving on, we have the leaders. Now I have 2 of them here, and I didn't put the Luffy leader in there. I didn't put the Boa. I didn't put the Chopper, specifically because they're already so expensive. They're like 16,000 for Chopper. Boa's like 14, 15 for the BGS 10, and Luffy's selling for like 25 to 30K. So, and now is probably the best move, and Monkey D. Dragon is also the best move because realistically, I talked about it in my last video. Monkey D. Dragon is Luffy's father. He doesn't have other mangas. He doesn't have other big cards, and I just think he's going to end up having big significance down the line for Endgame. He's the leader of the Revolutionary Army, and you know, we haven't even seen his devil power yet. So I mean, for people to be sleeping on this card so heavy just shows that a lot of people in this TCG don't actually watch the show. 5-10 years down the line, like I said, the people who want the big PCs and the collections, they're going to be ones who watch the show, who have, you know, very big liking to certain characters, and they want the whole layout of all the, you know, the GOATs pretty much. So Monkey D. Dragon's going to be in that conversation, and you guys know how I feel about it now. I think, you know, buying him at 2,500, 3,000 in a BGS 10, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, the gold leader complements his character really well. You know, he's got electrocute, or the thunder going by, the electric bolts, and I think it's just a great card too. You guys know how I feel. I've talked about it in my last 2 videos. I think he's coming back Endgame, and I think he's going to have more significance down the line. He was nerfed way too early, and I think Oda has more planned for him. So these 2 are in my opinion, are great to grab, and you're paying maybe like 5,000-6,000, maybe 7,000 max for these 2, and I can definitely see both of them being like 20,000 together one day. So just very slept on, very low pop, and you know, they had to be in this video. Moving on, we got the Silver Luffy SP. I feel like this is just going to be in every single video because it's such an S tier card. $15,000 in a BGS 10 slab. Very hard to grade, very hard to pull, and there's not, like, you know, too much more I can say about it. If you watch my other 2 videos, you know how I feel about this specific card, and just, you know, what this card can do. It's tied to the OP05 manga. It's tied to the gold one that we're going to get into, and you know, it's just going to continue to rise. So I didn't add the OP05 manga in here specifically because what I'm going to show you next. So let's get into it after this card actually. But the Oda stamp, you know, we love this card. Everyone knows that this card is going to continue to go up. It's the only Oda Sig. It's created by him, the artist. So, like, you know, it's a great looking card. It's got Luffy. It's a nice panel. The backgrounds of One Piece stamps. Like, it's just such a sick card, and it's only going to continue to go up. I can easily see this card. Right now, it's at 20,000 BGS 10. Easily see this card being a $40,000-$50,000 card one day. So, like, you know, it's going to continue to grow as the One Piece keeps going on, and when One Piece ends, when Oda stops writing the story, this card will only be more and more valuable. So, you know, I feel like you do need this in your collection, and it's a great one to have. Next, what I was talking about, why I didn't add the OP05 Gear 5 manga, is because you can take that money and look at the Buggy Gold, the Shanks Gold, the Marshall D. Teach Gold, and then the gold Monkey D. Luffy. Not only that, but the gold D. Roger. These cards right here, I did the tally with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 cards, it's a lot of money. It's probably like $50,000 right now if you want to buy every single one of them. But you guys know what I said about Gold D. Roger. If Luffy's right now selling for 42K being listed at 50. Why is he selling for 1820? He's due for a big time jump. I think he's going to go up to, one day he's going to be really close to 40, 50K. I can see this card at the end of One Piece when they do more screen time for Goldie Roger at the end of the show. They show how he got the One Piece. They give him more flashbacks. You see what his devil fruit was. I think, it's going to be a 75K, maybe even a $100,000 card, just how the Luffy Red manga is projected to be. So I think it's a great card to have. And also just getting the Buggy, getting the Shanks, getting the Teach, getting the gold Luffy SP, and getting the Goldie Roger. Having these 5 cards together creates such a premium. You don't understand, having a whole gold wall of cards. I think that is probably the best route to take. Say you're like, I'm only spending 50K and this whole thing, I don't want to spend 200K. I think if you spend 50K and you get these 5 cards, you are looking very, very, very good, because specifically these cards are only going to go up. They're only going to tag along with each other. And, like I said, all the people who want to get the gold leaders, there's going to be people who are like, right now, what we talked about, OP17 coming out. The new gold leaders, they're going to be like, oh, okay, I'm getting into OP17. This is my first time ever doing One Piece, similar to the OP13, the 3rd anniversary. They're all like, oh, damn, this is a really good set. One Piece is actually pretty cool. Now I want to get the other mangas. Now I want to get this. When they see this, there's going to be a lot of other people who get into it that haven't been into One Piece before. They might buy up all the gold leaders, and then they get the gold leaders, and they're like, oh, wait, what? This wasn't the first ever gold leader? Which ones were the first ones? And then they're going to look at these right here and say, oh, now I need them. Now I want to complete my gold wall. If you're that one guy who has in his collection all the gold leaders right here, then you have such a premium. Say you even get these, add these on. We don't know what the price is going to be for these. We don't know, what the pop count, how hard it is going to be to pull. But even without these, if you have this right here as the gold premium, you are going to be able to, create such a good move for yourself. Like people who are like, oh, I need all the gold leaders. They're going to be like, all right, well, this guy has a Buggy here in LA. This guy is in Canada. He has a gold Shanks. The guy who has the Goldie Roger, he's in freaking, Nebraska. I don't know. I have to take flight to flight. This guy's taxing. This guy's doing this. Like if you're that one guy who has that one collection and it's the whole gold wall, you can charge a stupid premium for it. And I just, not even charging a premium for it, I just think, these cards are going to continue to go up. And this is personally the route that I'm taking. Again, I'm not pumping any of my cards. Like I said in my first video, if I wanted to do that, I would be doing it on my main channel that actually has influence. I'm not doing that. This has like 10 subscribers on this channel. The people who come across this video, I really do think you're going to learn a lot of insight from this. And, if I can help you guys out in that way, I enjoy it. I want to do that. So that's my take for, why these are going to be such big, plays down the line. And just having these, I don't even want to sell them. Like, even if it does do everything I said it does and it's $1 million one day, I'm looking at them and I'm like, dude, these are such sick cards. I love One Piece. I have sentimental value to them too. So even if it's at $1 million, I'm going to be like, damn, yo, I don't even want to sell it. I just want to keep them for myself. To be honest, they're such cool cards. So, this is just a good way that I think you can end up hitting $1 million down the line for your PC. A lot of good insight in this video, but those are my 3, all-time ways that you can potentially have a $1 million PC down the line. With this, you're spending 200K. The sealed product, you're spending about, maybe right now it's probably the worst move to do because all the prices are inflated. You're not getting it from distribution. You're probably spending like $500,000 anyways, where you might as well just go the route and buy all the serialized because you're spending the same amount that way. So $500,000 for this. This is probably the most likely way it's going to go up to $1 million because you're in such a small market of people who are controlling it. But realistically, look at all the cards you can own with this. 200,000, you can own all these gems, and the people who want, everything, they want all the top tier characters here with the mangas, you're giving them that. Also the wanted posters, and then a little bit of the promos. Some people, like I said, don't like promos, don't like championship cards. They're like, I didn't win them, why do I want them? So you're able to diversify in so many different ways. You're not putting all your eggs in one basket, and I just genuinely think this is the best way to do it. So that's going to be my video on pretty much how to build a PC of One Piece to potentially become a $1 million down the line. So if you guys liked it, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications for the next video. Comment down below if you agree with some of my takes. If you don't, if you think I should take different routes, if you have other suggestions, maybe some things that I missed, let me know. Curious. And yeah, it's your boy Monkey D. Luffy. We'll see you on the next one.